Hi everyone, welcome to Our Two Cents. I'm your host, Clinton Smith. I'm the CEO of GCES, and I'm here with our financial advisor and president, Galen Bargerstock. Galen, how's your day?
I'm doing good, Clint. How are you?
You know, I have no complaints. I am, I'm happy because this is also episode number 40 that we are recording right now, guys. If you can believe it, we have gotten to 40 episodes.
Yeah, it went really quick. You know, surprisingly, I looked at the number. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that means, so this was our 7th trip out here. For everyone in home in Pennsylvania watching, you know, we record these episodes in Arizona, so we're out here 4 times a year. We do 6 episodes over the span of 2 days. We're excited to be doing this. And we're starting to build up our fan base. You know, we've actually had clients that have now come into our office from pretty far away because they've watched the TV show.
Yeah, it's picking up a lot of traction, especially in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. So guys, if you're watching this and you haven't had the chance to schedule your complimentary review, your appointment, your financial analysis with Galen, all you have to do is call the number on the screen. It's going to be up on the screen a lot throughout this show. The number is 888-391-3465. And at GCS, you know, we've built our business on 3 pillars, and they are what, Galen?
Health, wealth, and happiness.
Yeah, and honestly, we did that because it's our company. We started GCS 15 years ago, and I feel like we've been successful in this industry because, you know, we started working primarily with federal employees, and there has always been people that have preyed on federal employees. We know this from in the very beginning that there were people that were just out to make sales, and they were selling the same life insurance policy to every federal employee that they met. It's called the Security Builder. If anyone out there has it, give us a call. You probably have questions anyways.
Yeah, nobody still has that one though.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just that, you know, in the beginning we decided to do what's right for people. Now we're legally required to do it because you're a fiduciary, so you always have to act in people's best interest, but it's something that has also helped us be successful along the way. It wasn't just the right thing to do, it's also the reason that we have so many referrals.
Yeah, but I mean, for us, you're talking about all this stuff and being compliant, but for us, it was naturally like that from the entire beginning. You know, It was never, we only do one thing for you and then we're never gonna talk to you again. It's always been more of the holistic approach. What do you have going on? How is your family? You know, how are you doing today? You know, type of thing. So it's always been a good conversation.
Yeah. In the years that we've been doing this, we have gotten really close with a lot of our clients. We've been there when clients have passed away. It's very rough. And no matter what, in everyone's life is going to throw lemons at you. So this whole episode today, we're talking about being along for the ride.
Yeah.
About literally being along for the ride of life, and at the same time being cognizant and aware of the fact that a third of your life could be retirement or more, depending on how you do it.
Yeah, I think that the first step into like self-help should be a financial conversation that you're gonna have with yourself, because you need to know how you're making money, how your money can make money for you, and what you're doing with it to spend everything, to do everything you want in life. So, you know, having a solid financial background or a plan inside of anybody trying to, you know, better themselves is very important, because at the end of the day, it takes money to do anything that we want to do. Even this TV show is taking money, and you're spending money to watch the TV. You're paying, you know, the cable company or the internet provider, you know, so the money is involved in every aspect of life.
I don't know if they're paying for some of the networks that we're on. Some of them networks might be for free.
Yeah, well, a lot of people use people's username and passwords and like Netflix or Hulu, but yeah, somebody's paying for it.
Yeah. If you ever want to mess with your in-laws, just change your Netflix password. That's our top tip of the day today. So we really want to talk about being conscious of how you react to things. You know, everyone knows that's been watching our show that, you know, we are all about mental well-being and how that plays into your finance and retirement. You know, your health plays into your finance and retirement, and it all is related in one way or another. Yeah. And the mental, you know, taking care of your mental well-being is super important. It's going to affect your health. It's going to affect the people around you. Yeah. It's going to affect your decision-making when you're making decisions about retirement. Yeah. And all of that has to happen while you're going through life and doing all of the things that pull you in 1,000 directions in everything in our day-to-day lives.
Yeah, and when I meet with people, they are getting pulled into 1,000 different directions, so sometimes I have people, just calling and sliding right in there and like, I have to have this done now because I'm retiring at the end of the month. What do I do? I'm gonna get it done as fast as I can, I'm gonna accommodate that, but that's not prepare. That's where I call like the catch and save. And usually people with the catch and save, they're more frantic. They have more, their mind is somewhere else because they're not focused on one singular topic, where throughout the years, if you let us come along with the ride with you, then, we're going to be able to address the stuff at the beginning, work it out, and then you're never going to have that frustration, Clint, as you're, sliding into retirement. You don't have to just slide in and scream like, what do I do?
Yeah.
It can be a nice process.
Which, don't get us wrong, there are people that are sliding into retirement quickly because they have no choice, where something's happened, I need to retire. We work with a lot of postal employees that have had health issues that a lot of times arise from work that are either going to go out on disability or something to that effect where they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
But those people, we're not talking about you. We're talking about the people that did have a choice, that waited until the last minute. I know you're at home right now watching this show. If you're like, man, I really need to plan my retirement because I want to retire next year, the year after, that is too close to retirement to make any sound decisions other than just taking what you have.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, catch and save, I'm very good at understanding what somebody has, meeting with them for the first time and breaking it down and getting everything set up within an hour to max, getting all the paperwork done. But it's nice to have an easygoing plan into it because it makes my life less rushed and your life less rushed, and then we're both happy as we're going about the plan or, talking for that hour or two. Yeah. It's a much more pleasant conversation for all, yeah.
So I do want to ask, what is the youngest person that you've ever retired?
Well,
How young were they?
With actual retirement with pension and everything, 50. So that was the earliest with an age bracket for a federal employee that had an early retirement. It was actually two women that were married, and I got them out.
Yeah. So that means at 50 years old, that is like, you still have like 30, 40 years of good life, guys. So your retirement is important. All of us, most of us, hopefully go to the dentist every 6 months, but then we'll never meet with a financial advisor until they're ready to retire. And we're here to tell you, it doesn't cost you anything to meet with us. We're going to take a break real quick. When we come back, we're going to talk more about just rolling with the punches. But in the meantime, if you're in that group of people that needs to have an appointment with a financial advisor, if you're watching this show, it's no charge for you to meet with us. It's a no pressure situation. Galen will either come out to your house to sit down with you. You can meet with us on Zoom, or you can come to our office that's headquartered in Indiana, Pennsylvania. But if you're watching this show right now, we work in your area. All you have to do is call the number on the screen. We'll be back in just a moment. To me, a successful retirement isn't measured by money or amount of dollars that people have. We measure it more on happiness.
If you haven't started your retirement journey, it's good to actually just take the first step. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to commit to anything if you don't want to, but just taking the first step of reaching out and finding out what you have and then going from there. You have to know what you have to know where you're going.
Start it sooner rather than later is probably the biggest thing that I would say to people. A lot of people want to wait until they're right at the edge of retirement, and there's not a lot that we can do for a client whenever you want to retire in 30 days. 5 to 10 years before retirement is a lot better. We can do a lot more for people.
The best advice that I can always give somebody is just take the first step and, reach out and ask questions. You're not going to know what to do or what to expect until you ask the questions, and it's non-judgment at our office, so ask away.
When you think about retirement planning, does it sometimes feel like operation procrastination? Don't let life get in the way. You can give your retirement a tune-up today.
There's ins, there's outs, there's ups, there's downs. But when you take control of your finances and retirement, you're making the choice to take advantage of the pros and not the cons. Knowledge is power, and when you understand your retirement, you become the one in control.
No matter where you are in the retirement planning process, we are here to help you. Call today for your own retirement tune-up. Welcome back, everyone, to Our Two Cents. I'm your host, Clinton Smith, and I'm here with our financial advisor and president of GCES. And today we're talking about rolling with the punches and just going with life as it comes at you.
It's kind of what you have to do sometimes. Sometimes it gets to be a show.
Yeah, and there's really nothing we can do about it.
No.
Things are going to happen in our lives. You know, if you think about it, there are, losing a loved one is a huge issue. You know, that's going to affect your income. That's going to affect your choices that you make about your own retirement.
Yeah.
And it's going to affect what you're going to have to do to take care of what happened when you lost that loved one.
Yeah, and it's a loved one. So the emotional effect that it's going to have on you is just going to be ridiculous. You haven't experienced it before, and I'm not saying that I've experienced it. I've had loved ones pass away, but not a direct spouse, but I have been through the process with other people. So, I roll with the punches with it. It's a very sad time, but it's something where I kind of have to be a rock and get through it.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely been emotional for us dealing with that in the past. We've definitely had clients that, have been to our office, that we went to their retirement party, that passed away, that, stuff like that really sucks. It's going to happen, though. We have to just try to make the best decision possible and be there for our clients whenever they're going through something like that.
Yeah.
I know in our time of doing this, this is a time where people buy life insurance.
Yeah.
And a lot of them end up canceling it not too often later. Because, whenever you're dealing with that and, you're going through all of those expenses, that's a time where insurance agents prey on people to try to sell them life insurance because it's so tender at that moment. But that's something that we really take into consideration when working with people.
Now, it depends really on the age, because what you're saying, it does come into play. But if somebody's in their 60s, they're not really looking at new life insurance policies, if they're very large policies, especially if they're the surviving spouse. They might have under, a lower dollar amount just to pay for final expenses, and that's all they care about. So as we go through the ride, we just, roll with the punches and go with what level you feel you need. Because if party passes away, you're going to take over the investments. You're going to, maybe have pensions if you took the survivor benefit. So that's all stuff that I am already prepared to talk to a person about before their spouse passes away, because we had that conversation while your spouse was alive, so we know exactly what to do. So we're not caught off guard.
I would say, though, there's a difference in someone that is in their 60s or 70s than someone that is in their 40s.
For sure.
You may have talked to someone in their 40s about it, but let's be honest, in your 40s, you're not planning as much as you are for what would happen. Now, granted, we do talk about life insurance, and you can help someone figure out how much life insurance they're going to need if something like that does happen.
Yeah.
But for the most part, in their 40s, it's not something that people think is going to happen.
No, and that's usually why there's larger dollar amounts of term insurance, and group term insurance is cheaper for individuals. The federal government doubles the free benefit till a person's 45, just as a standard policy, because what you said is exactly correct. You are caught off guard if somebody's passing away in the 40s. It is not something that is expected, not the norm, of how a person would pass away. And as you're in your 60s or 70s, you know your mortality. You know what's coming up. It's inevitable. We all have to talk about it, and you've kind of addressed it at that point, hopefully. But yeah, the younger you are, so much harder. And even, to throw another wrench inside of all of that, I work with people that have illnesses that, don't think that they're going to live for a certain amount of period. For maybe the doctor says they have 3 years or 5 years, and, they're beating the odds. And I know people that, are 10, 15 years past when the physician said they were going to pass away. So that's all stuff that you have to consider in the financial plan about health, your health and what's going on.
This is also at the front of our mind right now. We had a server wait on us yesterday while we were out here that we've known, that we see every trip whenever we come out here, that since the last time we were out here, her son took his own life, which is a huge unexpected thing for her. And, in talking to her, we asked her, how things are going, or, how's she doing? And the sad part was that she was only able to take off 2 weeks of work because that's all she could do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Financially, while she's also going through the loss of her son, which is a huge life-changing event that is super difficult, I'm sure, to deal with. I have no idea how to return to work after that would happen after 2 weeks, but that's where things like an emergency fund and having a financial advisor can really come into play whenever you're prepared for stuff like that. Because I mean, even let's just say not just an accident, let's flip it around on good terms.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Life is throwing stuff at you. Let's spin this around. Let's be a little bit more positive, right? Let's quit talking about...
to go down a bad road.
Yeah, it's so depressing, guys. Health, wealth, and happiness here, right? So let's talk about having good things happen and talk about like you have kids and you have the funds and you want to buy them a house.
Yeah. I mean, as a parent, you want to provide for your children in any way you can. And then if your children have children, well, now you want to provide for them even more because they're taking care of your grandchildren. And they're the ones I think that you really like at this point from the conversations I have. But, at the end of the day, weddings, whatever you want to spend your money on is exactly what you should spend your money on. Me personally, as a financial advisor, my stance has always been your money is your money. You decide what you want to spend your money on, and that's it. I will tell you how to build your money, how to save your money, but I can't make that financial decision, and I won't if you ask me, can I do this? Well, no, that's completely up to you. If you want to use all of your retirement money, and I'm not saying that, a person would use all their retirement money, but if they want to spend all of their retirement money and do something personally for their children and their family to build a foundation for them to grow higher, well, that's their decision.
Yeah. The difference is that, someone might call us and say, hey, I need to put a new roof on my house. Hey, I want to buy my kids a new house. Hey, I want to take my whole family on a huge cruise because it's our 25th or our 50th wedding anniversary. We don't care what you spend your money on. We're actually here to help you get all of that money, make it all and keep as much as you can, but spend as much of it as you want. We're not here to tell you what to do with your money, but what we can do is tell you the best way to take the money or get the money from your retirement funds to make what you want to have happen. Because you do have that happen a lot where people say, hey, I want to do this project. Hey, I want to get a new car. When I retire, I want to pay off my mortgage or I want to pay off my cars. And you'll actually sit down with people and weigh the interest rates, how much your monthly payment is going to be. Should you pay it all off now? Should you pay it off over time? What are the benefits of that?
What you're saying is exactly the questions that I get asked the most when I sit down with anybody in an appointment. Should I pay off my home? What is the interest rate? And usually the interest rate is so low that the answer is usually no. You can have that payment into retirement. There's nothing that says that you need to have that house paid off. As long as you can meet your monthly needs, then that's completely fine. And it's as needed. But if you want that monkey off your back and you're going to feel like you are a jet set traveler if you have the house paid off, then do it. By all means, you have to do what you are comfortable for because nobody's living your life but you. And that's, the stance that I have to go on it because, I like to build the wealth. I encourage people to take out as much money as they want because I've seen so many people pass away and not even touch the account. And then what was it all for? Because if you are just saving this money, you're pretty much just saving, not spending, and then your children are going to get it or somebody else is going to get it, and they're going to spend it immediately. I'm not going to say, most of the time, not all the time, but usually they're going to spend it.
Yeah. Hey guys, this is probably the most bipolar segment that we've ever had.
Right?
We talked about death and, suicide, and all on the flip side, and, dogs and puppies. So we're going to end it on a happy note. But in the meantime, if you're looking for a financial advisor to help you understand all of your benefits, your retirement, whether or not to pay off your house, what you should do with your money, how to make this happen, we can help you understand all of those things if you're our client. It literally takes 45 minutes to 2 hours, and you'd have a solid financial plan. You just have to call the number on the screen. You can do it right now during the break, 888-391-3465. We'll be back in 90 seconds. At GCES, we have years of experience in working with thousands of families in over 40 states across the country.
We understand the ins and outs of your retirement planning and can help you understand all the options available to you.
Finances, retirement, the future, these are all things that can seem outside of your control, but with proper planning and a partnership with a financial advisor, you can put all of your worries at ease.
I'm Galen Bargerstock, and I've dedicated my life to helping families understand their retirement options and making sure that they can make the most of it, regardless of their income. All families deserve a financial advisor they can trust to help make the best choices.
At GCES, we have the expertise to help you down the road to retirement. All you have to do, give us a call today and start your journey. As people, we strive for better. From a better house, to a better career, to a better life for our kids. But when it comes to your retirement, what does better mean to you? Does that mean more income, a flexible lifestyle, or better solutions? A better retirement begins with a plan. To get your complimentary financial analysis, call the number you see here. Your retirement isn't going to plan itself, and this is your opportunity to plan better. Welcome back to Our Two Cents, everyone. I'm your host, Clinton Smith, the CEO of GCES, and I'm here with our financial advisor and president, Galen Bargerstock. Man, I have said that like 1,000 times, I feel like, or at least, 120 times.
Yeah, well, also the radio, seminars, everywhere, if you introduced me.
So today we're talking about rolling with the ride, going with the punches, making lemon meringue pie out of lemons if that's what life gives you. But it's not just the highs, it's the lows, it's everything in between. Everyone is pulled in 1,000 different directions every day, from their workplace, from things happening, from major life changes. And being prepared for finance and retirement is something that a lot of people don't think about. And they're too busy with the day-to-day things that they're not thinking fully ahead that retirement could be a third of my life or more.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully you're going to be retired for a long time and you have that money for a long time that you can be retired and comfortable.
Yeah. So out with the bad and in with the good.
Yeah.
Right? Whenever, one of the things that I know that people have stress over is market volatility, which granted, I know that we don't really like to get detailed and talk about finance insurance because it's super boring and no one really understands it as well as we're talking about it. But people understand I lost money in my retirement funds.
For sure.
And I just, overnight lost $50,000. I lost $40,000, which is a lot of money. For someone that's been working their entire life to save this money.
Yeah. And this goes into the whole we're along for the ride, you should be prepared. So the sooner you would contact to have a review, the more on track you're going to be. So you're not going to have to be bombarded or worry about if the market drops. I know that the market is going to drop in the future. I don't know when, I don't know how much. I just know that it's going to happen statistically because of the way the world works. So you just have to be prepared that when the chips are down, you keep that positive attitude and know that the market is going to come back up. The one thing that we have for us is the market has always come back up. It has never not come back up. So you just have to keep that hope that, your money will return. And then if you feel that you want to be more conservative after that money has come back, well, then let's have a conversation about making you more conservative. But I want that money to come back up before we do anything and address it.
Yeah. And not that I want to say that we don't want to talk about finance and insurance on the show. It's just very difficult to talk about it in an open forum like this and make sure that we're not saying something that might apply to one person but doesn't apply to somebody else. So I want to back that up just a little bit and talk about market volatility.
Yeah.
Because yes, someone may have, let's say you have $400,000, overnight you lose like 50 grand, right? That could be a huge issue for someone that is, over 55, I would assume, correct?
Pretty much people naturally get more conservative as they age. So I would say anybody in their 55 plus range would probably start having an issue. But I mean, your scenario, anybody, I'm going to have a problem if the market drops $50,000 overnight. So it's just, you have to be prepared that it is going to happen. If you have your money in the investments, that it could happen too. So you just have to have the understanding about the market and the risk, Clint, to know. Because if the market's dropping 50,000, you're already where it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Nobody's automatically into that and like, what happened? I lost $50,000 unless they don't understand what's going on.
Martha Stewart went to jail for insider trading.
I can't comment on that. I don't know how it all went down.
So, but the thing is that it's going to be different. We say rolling with the punches, right? Where you're, go with it. If you're losing money in the market and you're younger, you have the time to come back from that, right? The problem is whenever you're 2 years away from retirement and you're not going to have enough time to remake that money back when the market goes back up.
Correct.
Because you're basically saying that if you're younger and you can handle those losses, to leave it go, to stay in whatever funds it is that you're in, because when it goes back up, you're going to go back up with it.
Well, I mean, what you're talking about is what I would tell somebody inside of their employer accounts to look at their employer accounts, because I can't control what happens to somebody's employer accounts. Now, if a person is already with us under management, I have their risk tolerance taken, and if the market starts to trend downward, we're automatically on top of that. We have your back. That's why you've hired us. We're reallocating, readjusting for you, and we're putting you in the correct fund. So once you are with an advisor and we're along for that ride together, we have you covered. We don't want to lose money like you don't want to lose money. There's fees involved with this stuff that we do. Yeah. So that's why you have, yes, there's a fee, and yes, you're paying for something, but it's like anything in life, you get what you pay for. And if anybody in life has seen what a free parting gift is compared to, if you buy something, so it's just the same example.
The real line that it comes down to is that you can prepare, you can't prepare for what the future holds for you, but you can prepare for your retirement and your finances. We talk a lot about mental well-being. It's the 3 pillars of GCES: health, wealth, and happiness. They're all intertwined. If you're healthy, you're going to be able to you're wealthy, and hopefully that'll make you happy. Do you know what I mean? But they're all intertwined one way or another. And we like to talk about that because it really does take a role into finance. It's not just black and white numbers that everyone's looking at. Granted, it does come down to black and white numbers, but it's all about how you really feel about life and rolling with those punches and taking and making the best out of every opportunity.
Yeah, I think that people are caught up more on the health insurance aspect than the financial aspect sometimes. And that's why health is so important, because the healthier you are, or even if you're not healthy, if you're monitoring your health and doing the right steps to make yourself better, you have that understanding, and that's going to help you with the finance, because if you're not healthy, you can't work, you can't make that money.
So guys, thank you so much for watching our 2 cents. We're here every week talking about financial topics as it relates to health, wealth, and happiness. You can give us a call. We're here to help you out. We offer appointments in our office that's headquartered in Indiana, Pennsylvania. We can meet with you on Zoom. We can also come out to your house and sit down with you in your home. It just takes a little bit longer for us to schedule that. All you have to do is give us a call, 888-391-3465. Galen, do you want to give a little cheer because it's our 40th episode?
Hooray, yeah, I'm very excited.
See you guys next week.
See ya.